Okay, so what are my low, my high, my acts of kindness? Well, my low was I actually went to visit my mother yesterday. Nothing important really. Well, it was technically kind of important, but took care of it and got it over with. And I got all the way back here before I realized I left my phone there. Oh, that was not fun. Not fun at all. But my high and my act of kindness certainly make up for it. My high was, I only planned on seeing my mother like once yesterday, but no, I saw her 3 times. So, yeah, you gotta see my mom again. I know I said way back on day 1000 that the relationship I have with my family, specifically my mother and father, really isn't the greatest. But at the same time, it's definitely a lot better than what it used to be. And, again, when it comes to my act of kindness, what's better than getting my parents an anniversary gift for their 37th anniversary? Yeah, they were married yesterday in 1983. So, yeah, that gives you a brief rundown as to how old, because 37 and I'm 30, so they were together 7 years before I was born. So there you go. Actually, I'm going to be turning 31 soon. And my nephews are going to be turning 1 soon. So, yeah, that was actually another low that I had, is that I did talk it over with my mom. And don't misunderstand me, she believes I had the best intentions at heart. But pickles aren't really that good for babies. So, if nothing else, I'll probably just make the pickles for my brother and sister-in-law. That's fine. And plus, since pickles keep for a long time, if they feel comfortable giving my nephews, pickles, let them. No harm in that if you wait a little while. So, yeah, honestly, my gift idea is pretty sweet. But again, even though, yeah, you gotta wait. And even though my nephews are going to be exactly a year old a week from tomorrow, you still gotta be careful. So I actually have another gift idea for my nephews, and it's actually reminiscent of something that my brother did back in his youth. So, there's that. Although, and that's actually part of my highs, I do have another idea for what to give my nephews for their birthday. With that being said, looking through toy catalogs, looking for like the proper age appropriate gifts is hard. It is very hard. Cannot figure it out at all. It took me forever to find like the right one, because I'm seeing like age 6 and up age. Cause like it felt as if like the age kept going down, and like there was like a plateau at like age 3 and up. I'm going from top to bottom in case you can tell. And like, where is like 1 year and older? Can someone please tell me where that is? And my mom and I finally found something. So yeah, I have a pretty solid gift idea for what to give to my nephews. So, and I am going to be making pickles today. So I'll just the main gift is the one that my mother and I found, but the pickles I'll just make for my brother and sister-in-law. And even though I'm trying to save up jars, I know of 2 jars that I can sort of spare to part ways with. So in the end, everything's fine. Good morning, happy Friday, everybody. So, oh yeah, another high I had was also the fact that I did my art thoughts last night, which, it's weird. We were supposed to be getting snow last night, and from what I'm looking at right now, we did not. Unless it is snowing right now, and it's just doing a very horrible job sticking. Either way, whatever threat of snow we had is either small or, non-existent at this point. I mean, I'm sure something. I think it's supposed to I think there's going to be up to a 50% chance of snow today, but but again, it's 50-50. I mean, unless it's the movie 50-50, which is an awesome movie, by the way, it's not really going to be that big of a deal. Plus, again, I think it's going to be in the 40s today. So even if it does snow, there's nothing going to be anything to worry about. Although I am still going to drive carefully because, that's what you got to do. Let's see. A thought occurred to me when I first woke up this morning, and it just sort of popped in my head. I don't know why it popped in my head, but it did. And that's, it was about the UFC. And it got me thinking about, the octagon. Because, first I thought about shapes, and then I thought about octagon, and then UFC sort of popped in my head. And then I'm thinking, why on earth an octagon for the shape of a ring? And then the only thing I could ever come up with as to why that is because, UFC is twice as awesome, so you need 4 extra sides to do it. I guess that's that. I mean, I highly doubt that's the reason why, but it would be kind of cool if that was it. Oh well. Let's see. What else is Well, I was right. I was wrong about last night's game. Apparently, for whatever reason, the Falcons are slowly but surely starting to build up momentum again. For all the good it'll do them. I mean, without question, even after this year is over, everyone's still going to mostly be talking about how the Falcons lost when they had a 40-17 lead or something akin to that nature. Actually, was it 40? They even been 40-7. I don't know. Right. Unless they win the Super Bowl, which, yeah, the Falcons are not going to win the Super Bowl at all. I mean, my Cowboys are doing terrible right now, but at the very least, we would actually have some credibility to be in the playoffs, even though we're in the worst division ever. I don't know. I mean, I'm still going to probably pick my Cowboys every single week from now on, regardless of who they play. But I will be going in knowing full well that if we pull out a W, it's going to be nothing short of a miracle. They're just not trying anymore, It's kind of depressing in a way. Right. Well, I actually didn't need to make one bit of housekeeping or something I screwed up yesterday. And looking back on it, I actually did know who Sam Smith was because he actually made one of my favorite songs in recent memory, which is Stay With Me. And I did not recognize who he was until I got a better look at him, because if you watch the music video for Stay With Me, he looks completely different. Seriously, watch the video of him doing Stay With Me and watch his Hot Ones episode yesterday. It is he went from being looking like a kid to a grown man. And it's both funny and kind of makes you think that, man, I am getting kind of old. But, I did learn some things about yesterday's Hot Ones episode, specifically about, Sam Smith. For starters, he once said that, they say you should never meet your heroes, but for this case, I'll make an exception, referring to when he actually met Elton John, which, come on, Elton John is awesome. Who doesn't like Elton John? Well, I'm sure there's lots of people who don't like Elton John, but my point is, if I were to meet, actually, I have a boatload of heroes. I'm sure I would be in for a rude awakening if I met some of them, But I know that one of the main reasons why, like, I consider, like, someone my hero is because there really is something about their personality that's just warm, likable, stuff like that. And definitely for someone like Elton John, it's definitely, that's the case. I mean, if you saw the movie Rocket Man, then you know exactly what Elton John's story is. Although, I still think Taron Egerton got snuffed out of an Oscar snob. Or an Oscar, an Oscar nod. Oscar nod. He should have gotten nominated for an Oscar for playing Elton John, but he didn't. That's a real shame. Because that was an Oscar-worthy performance, if I ever saw one. Easily one of the best performances I saw in 2019. Which is saying a lot, because I said this way back when I talked about the Avengers Endgame. That movie was a treasure trove of great performances. Although, I gotta say, looking back on that movie, I think my two favorite characters in that movie were probably Rocket and Captain America. I don't know, the more I think about that movie, like, those are the two characters I think that stick out the most. At least to me. Well, and obviously what happens to Iron Man and Thor at the end. In case you didn't see the movie, I'm not going to give away spoilers. I wouldn't do that to you. Anyway, Avengers Endgame was a treasure trove of great performances. Like that and Deathly Hallows Part 2 for that matter. I'll put Deathly Hallows Part 2 in that. Oh, I already put both of those movies in the same contention and I've explained this before. See, I have very specific, like, very, very, very top S tier of movies in which, like, after I saw them, I immediately followed after the movie being like, we're never going to get anything like this ever again. I mean, think about it. We're never going to get another Deathly Hallows Part 2 ever again. And for almost 9 years, almost 8 years, that was almost the case. But, then Endgame came out. And I'm like, we're never going to get another movie like Endgame ever again, are we? So, yeah. I mean, I have theorized that, One Piece, when that finally ends, that will be in that same sort of tier. At least I'm hoping that's the case. But there's just so much stuff that needs to be told about that story. I don't even know where to begin. Although, I was watching Grand Line Review the other day, and I'm definitely on board with what he said, in which when the Straw Hats do find the One Piece, the series isn't going to end. There's probably going to be like an exposition sort of thing going on, and then it'll be the end. Wow, I went from talking about Elton John to the Hot Ones to One Piece. Why does that sound so strangely familiar to me? Anyway, right. What else about yesterday's Hot Ones episode? Well, and this is something I actually already knew, but when you hear from someone who's actually already famous, it sort of hammers it in a good way, that it is extremely difficult to appeal to wide audiences when it comes to whatever it is you're making. Be it music, be it a film, be it a TV show, whatever. So, there is sort of like a tightrope in which, you want to be careful with what you say and do. To be perfectly honest, I follow that tightrope with every video I make. Because, I don't want to get myself in any kind of trouble. I mean, I'm sure that there are some people who are gravely offended by me just sitting here making videos. And, well, first of all, if that's the case, why are you watching? I'm sure you probably have better stuff to do. Why are you watching me? If you don't like me. That is, if you don't like me. If you do like me, though, feel free to please keep watching. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. It's actually going to be it should be a relaxing Friday for me. I mean, as far as I know, hold on. I haven't heard any word about when Rita's is closing. Although, it's not November yet, so that'll probably happen, you know, a little bit down the line. Other than that, you know, I am going to be doing a class in session video tomorrow. And considering that it's Halloween, and this was actually going to be the class that I was going to do last week, but, you know, I wanted to get a certain class over and done with to rip off the Band-Aid, if you will. But tomorrow's class is actually one I'm really excited to talk about. I'd be a little more excited if the teacher from that class accepted my friend request on Facebook. Seriously, like, my teacher from that class actually has a Facebook, and I haven't received a response about it yet. I wish I did, because there's actually something I want to ask that teacher prior to tomorrow's video, involving, believe it or not, my final. But we'll get to that. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll just probably talk about what I remember doing. If not, oh well. Like, favorite, share, the subscribe button, follow me on social media, turn me on YouTube. I'm very humbled to make this video for all of you guys who watched and enjoyed today. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk or chat, I was going to be here to lend an ear. I'll be back. Take care and make good choices. Have a nice day.